tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum Explosion Live. Platinum Explosion Live for the second time ever in history and old time. It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be an amazing, horrible, garbage track.
We can talk now? Cool.
You can talk
Hi.
now. Let's do behind the scenes because there's no way Kieran's not going to make some fucking bullshit ass comment at some point in this show that's going to hint at behind the scenes that was happening.
Wow, are you not paying attention to chat? I've already made that. I've already made that comment.
You already fucking done it. Yeah,
I've already done it. I beat you to it. There was no music for the intro. Apparently, according to Dash Gamer,
I could hear it, but there was nothing on the video for some reason. I don't really know. Who cares?
Probably because you have multi-track set.
Fix it in. I fucking hate you so much.
Terrible.
I hate you so much.
Where is Ash? Ash, can you talk, please? So your face is seen.
No.
I'm here. I'm waiting to be introduced, like usual.
Ashley Hobley is here as well. That's right. But let's
Hooray!
go into it. Jesus Christ. No shit. I will say, I was 100%. I had this idea. I was like, I'll get a party popper, right? It'll be funny. I'll get a party popper. Yep. It'll be a bit. So I'm glad you did it. The reason I didn't do it is because I'm like, if I'm up in my room, party popper goes off. Everyone in the house is like, what the fuck just happened? And how do we make it stop and not happen again? But I'm glad you could
twisty
do it.
ones, which don't make too bad of a sound. So.
Yeah, sure.
Ash is all like,
I mean,
like
it's not too bad of a cleanup. So yeah.
That's good. I'm very glad.
What we can't see is Ash has like plastic bags on the floor, so he just kind of like grabs them together and just throws it down. Yeah. That's what the rest of them will hear.
All right, this is how
it's actually just hay on the floor and it's just going to decompose. Yeah.
That's how it works, right? This is how I'll introduce today's show. Today is a live episode of Platinum Explosion. If you're listening to this week on the normal audio podcast, it's kind of probably most likely already a shit show and will probably continue to be a live shit show. So, just in case you do not follow us and you for some reason just tuned into this week's episode on your audio podcasting service and were like, what the fuck is going on? It is indeed currently being live streamed at twitch.tv/Explosion Network, and you'll be able to find the VOD version where I've added into the music to sync it up to the video that didn't have it in the recording at youtube.com/Explosion Network. Of course, also over at explosionnetwork.com. Now that I've got that out of the way, I'll say this as well. I have topics for the show, right? I have heaps of topics laid out.
Yep.
Whether or not we use them all is up for debate. Whether or not we just slide the garbage truck on fire off the side of the cliff and it becomes an hour of shit talking, that is also open. Because it is a celebration.
It's really nice to know, Dylan, that you've done some preparation for the show, you know? Like, it's really...
There's a lot of preparation there. No one can say
I'm really glad you've done some. Like, other than the whirlwind of you came in 2 minutes before we were supposed to start.
10 minutes.
2 minutes. It was 2 minutes.
It was fucking 10 minutes.
It was 2 minutes.
Might as well have been 2 minutes.
Yeah, like Ash and me were sitting here for about half an hour because we thought there'd be a dress rehearsal for the live show.
I went to get drinks.
No, we'd practice all the bits that we normally do.
Today's episode is sponsored by Woodstock Bourbon and Cola. What are you drinking? Oh, no celebration drinks, motherfuckers.
Water.
I was thinking about I can go get... No, I don't want to get up.
Thank you, Rocker Mummy.
I'm not getting up.
Thank you.
I forgot. Every achievement does count, Dash. Thank you for that.
Only when they're called trophies.
Do you know, Ash, did you also have to sign like an agreement of stuff not to talk about on the show? Because I had to sign that stuff. Like I had to.
No, I'm allowed to say whatever I want.
You just want to blend out Overwatch and 10 times down, just get it out of your system, or?
I'm not going to talk about. Why are you bringing it up, Dylan? I don't talk about that game.
Not at
all. Like at all.
No, sure. That's perfectly fine. All right.
Where could one hear you talk about that game if they wanted to?
On this
is this shilling already? Early late nights, like right here.
Sure.
Wednesdays, 7:00. It's like an hour. We talk about Overwatch for 75% of that show. It's fine.
That's sure.
There's some esports in there.
Buddy Watson.
Everybody.
Water. Better not bring water to the. What is that? That's
WrestleMania party, right?
Got him. Yeah. I got the words. I figured it out. I cracked the code. WM does indeed.
Hey Ash, do you want to turn this into a wrestling podcast? We can do it. Like,
sure. What?
Do you want to talk wrestling for like 20 minutes?
No, this isn't too much. history. So
Your internet literally just hated when you said wrestling.
Your internet. I was like, I'm just gonna play along like that didn't happen. But no, that fucked up. That fucked up.
All right, let's jump into the topics. If you ever have a random topic or something funny that we should talk about, just bring it into the chat, and I'll probably replace any and all show topics with it because it's a celebration. And that's just the way we're going to do the episode. Because why the fuck? All right, so let's just kick it off. This month's PlayStation Plus games are of course live. We didn't talk about them. Well, they're live by the time this comes out. Normally, they're not live at the moment, are they? I didn't actually double check. I don't think they're until tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. The Hitman and that For Honor come down. Today is the last day you could get them. So they didn't add, the thing that we was most worried about for March though was of course that we talked about in the past is will they be adding any PSVR games? Will they be adding any extra PS4 games? They did none of the above. They deleted the Vita games, they deleted the PS3 games, and they instead just left it at 2 PS4 games. Although for the first month of no PS3 or Vita games, both games are pretty big. So you get Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered.
Modern Warfare?
I'm into drinks, Kieran. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Kieran. And you get the witness.
Dylan.
You're my witness. Ash. Look at me. Ash. Look at me.
Yeah.
Ash.
You're my witness to Kieran's death. Get it?
Witness.
Get it?
The witness is one of the games. I get it.
You get it. You get it all. It's all timed in there. Thunderstorm. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Can we do this more often with the live chat? I feel like there's more.
No, because the show's This is why, right? Like we could try and do a normal show, but the fact is, when you don't do, this is what I truly believe. You cannot turn. There's a reason I haven't turned like this show into a live show because it started as a show that was designed to not be live, and that's recording off air and the recording live are completely different. Like. Feelings, you know, like how you react and talk and all this sort of stuff. So it's like you can't just flick the switch and all of a sudden it's live because this is what fucking happens.
No, you're just scared of it being live, so because other people are going to shit talk you other than Ashley or rarely me. You know?
Well, I edit all that stuff out and I can't now because people can actually see it. Mr. Michael himself in the chat, 100 biddies is what the kids say on Twitch, and we're currently on Twitch, listeners.
Thank you.
100. Thank you for the 100th episode for sure. Thank you very much. All right, so what do we think about...
Say biddies?
That's what the Twitch streamers say. That's what the Twitch streamers say.
You'll get those biddies,
They say biddies, you know? It's like titties, but bits. Like bit titties.
Okay. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks.
In case anyone wasn't aware, okay? What do we think of this month's PlayStation Plus games? Ash, you gonna play either? You're a big first-person shooter fan these days. Hard fucking core Apex Legends.
Like you're more of a fan of Apex than I am.
He is.
Yeah.
He's 100% a bigger fan.
I've always been keen on checking out The Witness. Never pulled the trigger and bought that, so I'm happy for that. I think these games probably came out like probably mid-tier pricing when they first came out. I think everybody was sort of expecting maybe
Call
something
of Duty
bigger.
came out. What do you mean Call of Duty came out mid-tier?
The remastered. The remastered
version. Remastered. I thought it was one of the other ones.
No, they were giving you the
Call of
Duty
that's
fucking...
right, Dylan fucked up the name, so I had no idea which game it was.
I said remastered.
Did he?
I'll remaster you
Chat?
in a minute.
Yeah.
And The Witness was a fully priced puzzle game, which, of course, when it released, everyone spattered about and got all huffy and puffy because they were like, a $60 puzzle game, that's not worth the money, blah, blah, blah. I remember that. Do you remember that when that all happened? And now no one cares.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That was the thing that happened, and everyone shut the fuck up because it was a real good game. I've not played either of these games, although I was waiting for this in the chat. Buddy, of course, is
The Witness is pretty good.
Well, The Witness is his game of the generation.
Well, Buddy's a top bloke. He's obviously...
Is he?
Wait, The Witness is better. The Witness is better than Celeste?
No. Well, yeah, that's I suppose that's
it's
what
actually a
he's
conversation. Like, is The Witness better than Celeste? Like, is that really a thing?
I think that's what he's saying. I also like
that
to point out
saying?
that Buddy said
We'll
Ash
catch
is
up.
the Apex, which of course he is. Dash said, I'm offended that Dylan and Buddy replaced me this week with Ash. Well, we did actually do that because I was like, I want to play Apex, and every time I play Apex with Dash, he's, where's the fucking guns? This game's shit. I'm like, I need some wins. I need some wins. I'm going to play with Ash.
Celeste too.
I'm going to need to play with Ash.
Yeah, and we got no wins.
Shree said that Ash has always been the most hardcore out of us. He has definitely 100% proven that. Fucking Michael's over here gifting subs to people. Damn. So
to Buddy Watson.
Witness number 1, Celeste number 2. There you go. No fucking around. That's for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
I might play out of these. I will not. I may play The Witness, but my thing with The Witness is I like puzzle games to a degree. I don't like them when I get stuck for too long. Like I like being challenged a little bit. So my only worry with The Witness is the puzzles reach a point where I'm having to look up guides. And I like puzzle games being on that level of wanting me to actually solve it, but once I have to spend like hours and hours like bending my mind over something, I just get annoyed and I end up looking up a walkthrough, and then that kind of course defeats the purpose of the game, since the whole game is just designed around figuring it out yourself. So sometimes I wish that puzzle games had more difficulty levels to pick for people who just want like some slight challenge but not to be completely stuck for too long. And I've never played Modern Warfare at all, full stop.
I can't believe this.
I've never played
the campaign of Modern Warfare is some of the greatest like single player first person shooter campaigns ever. Like, it's crazy that you have. I can't believe it. Like, did you play the multiplayer at least? Like at all?
I've never played Modern Warfare 1 or 2.
What were you doing at this point in your life?
Playing RPGs, I guess. Let me throw this out. The first person shooter I ever played, I believe, was one of the Rainbow Sixes on PS2 or something like that, along those lines, somewhere around there.
New Rainbow Six Vegas
2, I think it was Vegas 2.
Okay.
And then around that same period, I tried out Counter Strike for a little bit on my PC when I got it, and I could barely run it, and I was like, "This game's terrible because I can't run it." And then the first first-person shooter I played through from start to finish ever, because I never finished New Vegas or anything, was the original Killzone. That was the first-person shooter I ever played start to finish. So I never really.
You should definitely play Call of Duty, because it has actually it's like aged really well as well for a first time playthrough. Like, it's a fantastic, like, even just like the sniper missions are fantastic on their own, but the whole game's really good.
Mm-hmm. I might.
What do you think? I saw the discussion today on a Facebook group that we're all part of in some way.
You're not going to say it.
And not going to say the name because it's just whatever.
Okay.
But they were talking about, somebody suggested that because they've removed the PS3 and Vita games, should PlayStation change the price of the online subscription, like of PS Plus? And I'm just like, who was paying with it in mind that I'm getting PS3 and Vita games still? Like, isn't that just like a nice bonus on the other services that are more well used?
I could almost guarantee it's like at least 90%, if not more, people were just like doing the add to library, but no one was ever playing them. You know, you was just collecting them, but never actually playing them. The only people who, I'm sure there is a small amount of people, because I don't want to throw them on the bus. I'm sure there is a very small amount of people out there who don't have PS4s and had PS3s and were basically loving still having a free PS3 game or 2 free PS3 games going. But that's like such a small number that you eventually just have to be like, too bad, move on. You don't get the games anymore. Yes, Ash?
A couple of those games, PS4 crossplay as well, though. Where you could play them on PS4.
A lot of the Vita ones did cross over to PS4, and you could choose to play them on PS4 as well. Michael chucked in here, I was going to donate, but I can't find the donate button. That's a lot of money to donate, so it's probably lucky that we didn't have the donation button. So that's thank you either way, Michael, though.
Appreciate it.
Showing up is good enough for us at the moment. Thank you very much. Looks for Nicholas Pryor. I believe he's getting ready for a concert. He's going hardcore this week and going to some hardcore concert is what he told me. Maybe he
hardcore.
Needs, knowing what Nick's like, he needs about several days of sleep for that.
Let us know in the chat what you think the concert he's going to is.
He told me it's some hardcore shit. You know, he's going out raving. Dylan Ash Dash, we were definitely playing Modern Warfare 1. Great compare and excellent multiplayer. They did it for multiplayer last gen. What GoldenEye did in this generation. Yeah, I never got into it, I guess. So
he never played like Knives Only on freaking Shipment. Yeah, but there was just
no.
Get them glow sticks out for Nick Dash, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that
for sure.
Nick should glow paint like his head. Like, imagine that if Nick just like full on just.
It would be really cool if he did like a orange splat and then like a blue circle in the middle.
Where'd you get that idea from? That's fucking great.
I don't know. It just came to my mind.
But shouldn't it be like a blue splat and an orange circle in the middle? Didn't you say it the other way around?
That could also be.
He doesn't even know.
I
was trying to be subtle, Kieran.
I was trying to be subtle, and then I screwed up
and wrong. Yeah.
Oh dear.
I mean, it wasn't a fully formed idea, so.
What I'll say, the last thing on the PlayStation Plus thing before moving on, I guess, and to Kieran's point, is that if they're not going to add more games in, but the caliber of these two games represent the caliber of sort of games that they're going to at least continue to give the next couple months, then I still think the price is definitely worth it, because they're, The Witness plus Modern Warfare Remastered, they're not like God of War plus fucking Spider-Man. That's of course absurd, but they're still quite high quality games. Neither of these games feel like a chuck away whatever random thing here, so I think that's quite good. And I'd be happy with that.
Stuff like we're in the twilight of the PlayStation 4 now. We're in the home stretch leading up to the PlayStation 5, whenever that's about.
Comes out this year.
It's not fucking coming out this year, Dylan. You talk shit. But do we start seeing games like Horizon start coming out in PS Plus? Like,
no.
I reckon.
Fair enough.
It's too easy for them.
I think they're gonna definitely add a game next month. Okay. I think there's.
Then why wouldn't they do it?
You look at the article. There is so many. Every single article about PS Plus this month, everybody's angry. So,
but why would they take a month off? Why wouldn't they just do it this month if they're going to add in a third one? Why one month? Well,
maybe the deal that they had didn't come together quickly enough.
Why would they need to add another game? That's what I don't understand. Why is another game needed to be added when?
Just to placate people.
But people, that's... I fucking hate it. I actually hate people.
No, I'd like to see, an indie game or something smaller, like the sort of stuff they had earlier on, like new release indie titles. Something like Rocket League, something like that would be cool, just to give something a bit.
But then people, so you want that as an extra game on top of it? I don't know. PlayStation Plus is already
half a year. They've been doing mostly A to AAA games, so
PlayStation Plus. I still can never get my head around why cloud saves are not just a native thing on PlayStation. Why it's a paid service? It annoys me.
They have to pay for the service. They're literally paying for a warehouse to put your saves in. I understand having to pay for cloud service to a degree. This generation, I believe I would. It's the kind of thing that I'm like, this generation, sure. Next generation, cloud saves are just part of the service.
But why has Microsoft been doing that for the last generation without being paid for?
Because they need the good press.
No, what do you mean? They've been doing it since the 360.
They need the good. They need.
How do they need the good press? They've been doing it for years.
They need that good press.
They need that good press for something they've already been doing.
They're being nice, but I still understand charging for it. It's still something I've never really considered to be a necessary.
How many servers does Microsoft have? They don't need to worry about it. They've probably got a whole massive farm full of servers.
It's in the cloud, man. There's no servers in the cloud.
I mean, Nintendo's charging for it as well, so it's not like it's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Just it's up in the sky, like a fluffy thing, the cloud. It is just somebody else's computer, but carry on. But I still think that, I don't know, cloud saves need to be native, and it worries me. I think, as Dylan was saying, they're going to have issues with the PS5's network. If it still has the fucking PSN on it, as it is now, it's going to be garbage, but it needs to change. They need to bring that into native kind of cells.
Sure, that was a sentence you said. Michael in the
chat
that
was really
Michael in the chat said we got an Ace Attorney release date April 9th. I saw that just before, Michael. I'm pretty excited, even though I'll probably never finish it, but I'm still excited to check out Ace Attorney on the big screen. Dash said all PlayStation should just shut the fuck up and get Game Pass. Well, that's something, a topic I was going to bring up on possible spoilers for this week's Arcade Couch, because there was, we'll talk more about that on
Xbox is not going to release a console.
We'll talk more about it. We'll talk more about it on Arcade Couch.
Everywhere. It's just, Ashley, don't you be bringing Arcade Couch, Ashley, onto this freaking show.
Michael asked, Kieran, do you remember what your 100th
just throw the money down the well?
Kieran doesn't have
my 100th platinum. Yeah, my
100th trophy. Your 100th trophy, not your platinum. You would have got at least 100.
trophy? No.
Michael's saying the PS5 announcement's going to come 2020. No. Announcements this year. It's coming out this year, that's for sure. But he said Catch 22, only 2 games, and they give more AAA titles to compensate. Then we thought we might miss out on the darlings like Towerfall, Resin Gun, and Rocket Gun. Yeah, for sure. We miss out on some of the indie titles and stuff if they're only giving out 2 AAA or AA games or something like that. Dash also reckons that Microsoft has 100 billion servers. Not 100% sure if that's correct, but
sounds accurate.
Player base. Fuck you, Dash.
Dash says he's here for Arcade Couch Ashley. I'm not sure if Arcade Couch Ashley's allowed on Platinum Explosion.
He's not.
Sheree then said, OMG, Kieran has no platinums. He has like 1 or 2. No, how many did you get before you dropped out? And
I'm like 10, maybe.
You got like 3 or 4 into your goal, and then you fucking dropped out. So.
Fuck off. Why are we bringing up the past? This is not a show
let's
about nostalgia.
Be fair. Something else I was going to sneak into this episode was I was going to be like, you still owe me a fucking stream. You still owe me.
Have you named a fucking game yet,
No,
Dylan?
well, this is what I was going to do without telling you. In the chat, right? Pick the game. Pick the worst. Pick it. It has to be a PlayStation game. That's the kind of rule we made because it was a PlayStation related bet. But start writing in titles for games. Michael's already previously suggested The Quiet Man, and that was what we nearly locked in, but never happened. And that may still end up being the game. But if you've got shitty PlayStation games you'd like to see Kieran play, we will pick it and lock in the game by the end of this week's episode because Kieran owes me a stream of a horrible and shitty game.
If you want to get me back, right? If you want to get me back, just say Overwatch, and I'll be like, oh no.
He literally cut out as he said
Overwatch on PlayStation.
Oh fuck! No, not on PlayStation. Oh shit! No.
Yeah.
Buddy said you made a mockery of the race to 25. They had to step it up with the road to 100. Yeah, Buddy, I need to have Buddy on Plat at some point in the near future to talk about his goal because he's going for the Plats this year as well. All right, let's move on. So PS4 maybe finally. This is a tacky thing that interests me because I suppose it interests me mostly because I listen to and play everything with headphones. I never ingest media without my headphones on is the thing. Or like 99% of all media I ingest, I always have headphones in. So PS4 might be finally getting a Dolby Atmos 360 sound equivalent for games in the future, according to an interview Forbes did with, let me fuck up someone's name here, Koshiro Kazum? That's Kuruzume. Sure, got him. 100% got him. Thank you very much. The head of branding and product planning for Sony Video and Sound. This would make sense as Xbox has announced Dolby Atmos will be coming to all things Xbox soon, from movies to games and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sony, though, most likely is just going to be releasing their own tech, 360-based tech, instead of paying for the Dolby license, which would make sense because Sony is known to do really stupid things like that and try and make their own tech instead of just paying the license to get tech, which I kind of understand from a little point because a lot of times when we do podcasts and stuff, I'm often like, let me try and make the theme tune because I don't want to have to like credit anyone and like worry about like let's try and do all things in-house. So I understand it from that point, I guess, but at the same time it's like there's like Dolby Atmos is already, if you look on the back of a lot of Blu-rays, it's like Dolby Atmos, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Atmos, all these fucking cinema chains throughout the different parts of Australia and the world, obviously. It's like this is a Dolby Atmos surround sound system. If you don't know what Dolby Atmos adds, I think the biggest, like if you're in a cinema, for example, like how the speakers are placed, it's basically just 2 on the roof. That's like the biggest thing that they add to it, is 2 on the roof that enables 360 sound, because we've already had 5.1, 7.1, of course, speakers surrounding you, and now they're like, yeah, chuck 2 in the air and you'll be able to hear the helicopter actually go over your head. So that's really interesting. So I'm really interested in this because I play all my games with headphones in. I like the way my headphones sound as is. I always watch most of my TV and movies with my headphones in, and although my surround sound headphones sound great, I am always more I would upgrade those to Dolby Atmos 360 surround sound headphones pretty much at the flick of a finger. I'd sell off the ones I currently have and upgrade because I really love having great sound. Like I was even watching something the other day. I was watching, what's that new Netflix thing that I was watching the other night? The Ellen Page one. What's that fucking called? The
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy.
Everybody should watch.
I was watching.
What do you want to watch? Fire the Explosion.
Chill. I was watching the first episode of that, and there was like with headphones on. Sometimes I pick up on stuff that I'm like, I was like, there's these slight like raindrops in the background and stuff that you just simply won't pick up with good sound happening either for your system and stuff. So, and it's the same for video games often, especially these days. A lot I notice sound gives you a high advantage in games like in Blackout. Apex Legends. I suppose Fortnite's the exact same because being able to hear footprints and sound around you and where exactly. Yeah.
Hear footprints.
Hear footprints. What do you mean?
Don't you hear footsteps?
Footsteps?
The footprints are what they leave in the ground.
Yeah. That's exactly 100% right. Being able to hear footprints being made. Being able to hear footprints being made. Fuck you and your fucking motherfucker. Being able to hear footprints being made. I'm going to commit to it. Is, I think, really important to those types of games. So I think sound is becoming a lot bigger thing for this generation and stuff. And hearing them talk about it, I could actually see this being one of the more prominent features that they could announce with the PS5. Because it's one of those things that we often talk about. Oh, what does the PS5 bring? Like, graphics are already great. And it's like the best they could do is probably go, it's 4K, everything's 4K, and it's like 60 FPS locked. But then other than that, of course, the graphic jump between generations isn't going to be that big. So then you have to look into other elements. And I think being able to sell the PS5 and say, hey, everything's 4K now. And also we've got 360 sound, and that's going to be something that every developer has to guarantee to our games to continue is going to be a high part of PS5. What the fuck is happening in the chat? I'm going to read and find things that are actually interesting. Does anyone have any opinions on what they like in sound, or if they do not or don't care about sound in their video games? I'll assume Kieran cares.
I mean,
more.
it's interesting that Sony hasn't done this previously, because they make sound systems, they make headphones, they make movies, they sell music. I mean, why wouldn't they have this
Xbox
tech?
has had it for a long time. Like
Sony as a company, why wouldn't they have their own patented system of sound delivery? I don't know what Dolby does, to be honest.
I don't know what Dolby does.
Don't know what Dolby does.
For anybody who's listening in the audio podcast, from the official Explosion Network Twitch account,
I mean, we're not a Dolby.
I hate you all, Dylan. From Dylan. He's just telling all of our lovely fans who were here while Ash was talking that he hates.
Who's to say I wrote it and someone's not pretending to be me? Like you.
Well, I have a mechanical keyboard. You'd hear it. You'd hear this shit be picked up. Like, it's just, not going to happen. Dolby Atmos footprints.
This is exactly like on that Arcade Couch episode where I picked the topic of fucking 10-year-old games, and then I just regretted bringing up that topic at all.
Because 12-year-old games were better. 12-year-old games were so much better.
Oh my god, I can't even. All right, fuck you, sound. Sound's not important. It's not like you're listening to something that literally requires you being able to hear. Come on, Kieran. Surely, as a big PC player, you've got to hear these Overwatch footprints coming at you.
These Overwatch
footprints coming at you.
I've always had I really like my Astro A50s that I use for both my PC and for my console gaming, and it has I was about to call it Adobe Atmos. It's Dolby Atmos. Adobe makes PDF readers, but whatevs. But
Adobe Acrobat footprints coming at you.
You could Photoshop the footprints after you listen to them. But no, it is really important in not just games, but I think for immersion. I think I wouldn't have loved PT as much with headphones on, and I would have loved it even more if there was directional sound incorporated into the game. Like, just any horror game or any game in general would find an adaptive and enhancement to its experience and to bringing you into the game. There's nothing scarier than hearing a knock behind you, even though it's in the game, or just everything happening around you. And having that directional sound it's an advantage in competitive gameplay, but it's also a good way of bringing your audience deeper into the game and immersing them in the story.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
How was that? Was that a very good, critically acclaimed kind of answer for you?
I'll take it. 10 out of 10.
Instead of just shit talking.
10 out of 10. I would stick that answer on an Adobe Acrobat footprint file.
Adobe Acrobat footprint. Fuck you.
Michael said you can't edit Adobe Acrobat footprint file format. Well, unless you pay the license.
Thanks, Sheree.
Lost Disciple, they are worried about a lawsuit for someone shitting themselves to death. Oh my god, who's going to be shitting themselves to death?
Me in playing PT and 360 fucking
that's true.
sound. Holy shit! No, I'm good.
You are. Sheree said good professional answer, Kieran. There you go. You got.
I appreciated it.
You got very much.
It's just
Good job. All right, let's move on. So next thing I'll talk about is something Fash. So they dropped information finally for the No Kuni 2 DLC, which I should just probably hurry up and finish the damn game so I could be more excited about this. But the description of the DLC made me laugh because it sounds insane. And then also the art for this looks fantastic. So the DLC is being announced as a new upcoming quest called Tale of a Timeless Tone DLC. And now I just want to read the thing because I was like, is this real words? Is this even English? It says, the starting point of this adventure is a mysterious appearance in a dream. What a sentence. What a fucking sentence.
Mysterious? Is that actually
a starting point of this adventure is a mysterious appearance in a dream. It's Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days dream time is what we've got happening right now. It's like, what's it? People staying at the Gold Pond Inn claim to be visited by enigmatic rabbit in their sleep. Upon hearing this rumor, Evan and his friends decide to stay at the hotel to investigate and unveil the mystery. They enter a dream together. Yeah. Step into a strange house and meet the conductor, a rabbit in a tuxedo and a top hat. To those who played the original game, No Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, dun, 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 both the house and the conductor will be familiar, wink, 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 wink. And the conductor's role in this story, however, remains to be discovered. So, Ash, are you excited? Because we previously, when they announced the DLC it was going to be coming soon, I brought it up to you on the show. I was like, will you jump back into the DLC? And I'm pretty sure you was pretty much like, probably not, because at the time they were saying it was probably just going to be more dungeons and stuff like that. That wasn't super exciting. But does the DLC, now that we have a synopsis of it and know that's actually going to be more story-based and stuff, does that incite you to jump back into it?
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's kind of a slowish period, at least for my tasting games. So it would... they released that other DLC, so maybe, I mean, if the DLC is on sale, the season pass
would you be enthralled if the DLC included more base building and mobile games?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what it needs.
They needed to.
It's interesting. Also, apparently they're bringing back the Wizard's Companion, which is a tome that Oliver used in the original game. So
they're tying stuff
in. They may be tying it in a bit more.
They're tying it in, which brings me one and only thing. They're tying in DLC. They're tying in stuff between No Kuni 1 and 2. I'm probably just reading into it 1,000%, of course, but I'm like, they're tying things in. Does that mean like we're leaning towards a remaster of the original game for PS4? Because that's what everyone wants. That's what everybody
needs.
Yes, that's what everyone wanted
before
this.
So I can actually finish that game.
Yeah, me too. I never finished either. Yeah. I like both games very much, but never finished either.
I know.
They're both so pretty. But anyway, that was a rabbit pulled from Alice in Wonderland. Maybe the fucking description makes it sound like something else.
Apparently, the conductor was in the first game. I don't remember.
Who would know? Because me and Ash never finished it.
I played it too. I got stuck and then didn't feel like grinding.
How did you get stuck?
No, he was like
grind.
No, it's because I didn't go grind or I didn't want. No, it's because I got to a point where if I wanted to go grind, I'd have to restart the game.
I've only ever had that happen to me in like one game before, and that was Final Fantasy X.
I've had that happen like twice. Final Fantasy 12.
You probably just saved at a really bad point.
Oh, it's because it was the first time that you go back to the real world, and then once you're in the real world, there's a boss fight.
You didn't get very far.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get very far, but I didn't grind very much before then. I thought I had, and I got to the boss fight.
Stuck.
Yeah, and I got to the boss fight.
That's why you have multiple save files, mate.
Oh, look, mate, I didn't think that would be...
We chucked the mate on that. That's why I have multiple save files, mate.
Mike.
Oh, dude.
It's like you haven't played an RPG before. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh. How many? I legit, like, if I was to look at my save files for Kingdom Hearts 3, I think I got up to like 10 to 12 save files or something like that, I feel. How many do you reckon you had, Ash?
For Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, but 3 by the time you finished it, do you reckon?
3 or 4.
Okay, yeah, I go way more hardcore then. I'm making an exuberant amount of save files. And do the whole rotate thing, you know, like we go back up to the top, we go back. You're constantly like rotating your
then
save
what's
files.
the point of having 10 saves if you're rotating that much?
Well, it's just it's because I've had bad things happen, like that one time.
Safety.
Back in the day, I didn't make heaps of save files, and I only had one save file when I was playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion, right? And I was out in the middle of.
Well, that's just a bad idea for Oblivion.
Yeah, I know. I was very inexperienced at the time, but I was out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, right?
Like Kieran is.
Yeah, I was out in the middle of nowhere as my character, and I never realized I was about to turn into a vampire or anything. And I'm out in the middle of the day, in the middle of nowhere, and I suddenly turn into a vampire. And I just saved there with my one save file. That's all I had. And because it's the middle of daytime when I suddenly turned, I'd constantly, and you can't fast travel because you're taking damage. I pretty much started working my way around the map, and I would run in one direction as far as I could, die, and I'd reload to save, run slightly, like 90 degrees, a little bit that way, run, die, and I eventually covered my full 360 spectrum around me to see if I could ever make it to a house. But I was so much in the middle of nowhere that no matter what I did, I would just constantly die, and I fucked my save file, and I couldn't do anything.
I don't know how, right? Because you must have ignored some pop-up menus before this point.
Probably.
Because vampirism isn't like a bam, you done for. It's like a slow burn where it's like you've contracted it. You then have like 24 hours to 2 days to go sort it out.
No symptoms at all.
And then for Dylan, just bam, vampirism.
No, not bitten by anything.
I didn't see him coming.
Didn't see him coming. Just,
I took an arrow to the knee, meme, whatever we say here when we're talking about Elder Scrolls at any point in time. Let's move. Push Square has reported that many Reddit users are saying they are getting Anthem refunds for PSN sales by ringing up customer support and blaming the constant crashes of the game, among other things. This is a big deal, if true, which I would choose to believe because there's a lot of people saying it. It seems really weird for the amount of people on Reddit to be making up the same sort of lie. If it was only one person, I'd be like, they could just be making it up, but it's a few people. So it's weird because Sony doesn't actually offer any sort of refund system in their storefront compared to like Steam, of course, which actually does now have a refund system built into their storefront. So it's it's interesting to me because Anthem is that fucked up that customer service people are apparently giving out refunds, something that Sony doesn't really do at all. Although the people on the Reddit forums apparently saying that some would ring up and say, I want a refund and not get it. So it seems to depend on if you're getting the nice customer service person or the not so nice customer service person.
So we would also look at like your game time played and stuff like that for that. Like, has this person actually given the game a go? Have they actually tried to play it, or have my
question to that would be, because the biggest problem that people are having with this game on PlayStation at the moment, and it seems to be the main problem that people would say to customer service that would like give them the biggest tick to get a refund, is the game crashes after 5 minutes playing. The game crashes after 5 minutes playing. So it's like you could look at someone's playtime and say, oh, it says you've only played for like an hour, but what if they had the game crash like 10 times? Like if I tried to play a game and it crashed 10 times in my first hour or so of trying to play it, I too would be like, this is unplayable. This is literally unplayable. Like if a game was crashing that much, you would want a refund. So it's like sometimes I feel like game time doesn't necessarily tell the true story if a game is actually that fucked. And apparently Anthem at the moment is being pretty fucked for a lot of people and crashing quite a lot, which is, I haven't had those issues in my time trying out the game, so it's a problem that I haven't run
That's
into.
fair, Dash. That's fair for if you've left the game running just sitting there. Buddy, physical future is not a thing. It's going to be all digital. Let's all
Buddy says, or just buy the physical copy and don't get trapped into that scenario.
There won't be physical copies by 2038. So
yes, we all know Kieran's a big fan of digital only stuff, but this is one of those cases where
it's understandable, and I don't understand how. So Steam had to go through their whole refund debacle because of Australian law. How the fuck does Sony get around that?
I guess enough people haven't like caused a kerfuffle with them to cause the Australian consumers to look into them or something like that. Because that's how it. Because
there isn't as much shit on the PlayStation Store as there is on the Steam Store.
I just thought, because I thought being able to get a refund for something was like a thing that a business had to be able to offer. Unless they say they do, but they don't really. They just have really hard...
It's supposed to be, but when it's always been that weird kind of grey zone when it comes to A, digital storefronts, and also B, digital storefronts that aren't actually in Australia and all these sorts of things. It's like one of those things where, sure, they make Australian consumer law and stuff, and the people making up with it are just solely thinking, all these places are in Australia. They're all like stores you can walk into and stuff. And then all of a sudden the digital future comes in and all these digital storefronts and digital goods is also the thing. It's like, what is digital goods really? And like, do you actually own it because you're buying a license? And then say PS5 doesn't even give you access to your PS4 games. Really, people could cause a kerfuffle about that too, to some degree, if they wanted to, I guess, because then it's like in this icky ground of, do I ever actually own a game? You only really own a license, I suppose. Like, you never have the files that you could copy from your PlayStation to a USB or a disc and choose to then put it in later. Like
Not legally.
Yeah, exactly. Although a lot of programs and stuff that you can buy for PC, for example, like if you buy a digital installation of a lot of editing programs and stuff, for example, you have the option, you could burn that to a disk and make it a boot up file and be able to install it on your PC after doing a hard wipe or something along those lines. Like if you buy Windows digitally, you can like copy it to a USB and stuff like this. Whereas PlayStation games, it's just a license. You don't have access to the files. You don't have any ability to back it up or anything along those lines. It's really icky and weird grounds that they get into. Lost Disciple said in here, doesn't PlayStation do that 7-day trial thing that they get you store credit? I've never heard about that, and if that is a thing,
Michael just copy pasted. He just did the research.
Did what?
He prepared copy pasta.
He copy pasted.
Copy pasta is, you fucks don't hang out on Twitch ever, do you? Copy pasta is how
it's a creepy pasta.
No, copy pasta. Oh, you fucking...
Good evening, Gaster. If that's I'm sorry if you... Anyway, Michael did say, if you change your mind about a purchase made from PlayStation Store, you can request a refund to your PC and wallet within 14 days from the date of transaction, provided that you have not started downloading or streaming a purchase. Well, yeah, I suppose they've started doing it. I suppose this covers...
So pretty much anyone who buys a game and pre-ordered.
Yeah, I suppose this covers...
You're going to be downloading it before the date.
I'd just like to thank Dash Gamers for tweeting out on the Twitters the new logo and symbol for Dolby Atmos footprints.
I'll look at that later. I'm glad we got a meme out of this season.
Trademarked by the Explosion Network. Chucking out there, yeah.
Got another thing like Dash's name. We came up with that too. He said that the article applies to PSN accounts created in Europe, India, Middle East, Oceania, Scandinavia, South Africa, and Russia. So that would cover us, but it doesn't cover much. It covers if your fucking child accidentally gets onto your account and manages to buy a game or something like that, I suppose, and you haven't started downloading it. It's pretty much.
Sorry there, Dylan. I think in the description there it said Oceania. There wasn't an S there. There wasn't an S in the description.
I only see S's.
You only see S's? Is that like a shit version of the Sixth Sense? You only see S's?
Someone put a really weird troll question here, but I'll start reading it just because it's a copy.
Funny. It's a copy pasta. This right here, copy pasta. You fucks.
Is that what it is? It's copy pasta?
Yeah, this is a traditional copy pasta.
Is this how Twitch works? Ask me about drugs and stuff.
Yes.
No copy pasta, good sir.
No copy pasta. Yes, no copy pasta. That is a fucking copy pasta. Henny and Lee.
I think Aaron's trying to troll us. I don't think copy pasta is a thing.
I hate you all.
I don't think copy pasta is a real thing either. All right, so Anthem's in a shit place. It's interesting that they're refunding it. I think anytime a headline reads some places having to give refunds for your game is like your game's kind of, it's not good press is what it is. It's definitely not good press. All right, talking about doing bad, the PlayStation Vita is officially dead.
Ray! We just need to sum the life it had.
I'm glad he makes the sound before he pops so that his webcam is.
It's hooray! I'm on camera. How many did you buy? How many's in a pack? How many do I have to expect to happen?
Just the 2. It's all good.
Audio listeners, this is definitely one we have to go find it on YouTube, I think. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, the PS Vita is officially dead. Ash is very happy about it properly. Apparently, production has stopped for the handheld that would be in Japan this past week. I was going to do like a top X Vita games for this episode, but then I knew it would turn into a bit of a shit show, so I'm like, that's a bad idea. So that's something that I will want to do for a future episode, to send it off properly. But yeah, so...
A proper funeral.
Are you going to Viking funeral it? Like, you're going to put it in a boat and then just like archery?
I was thinking, no shit.
Dylan's crack, baby.
I was thinking about making a video of like doing something to my Vita, but then at the same time, I'm like, oh, do I really want to ruin it? Like maybe
I can still use it.
There's still trophies that could be earned on that thing.
Just go get a second one and do it for the bit.
How much do they cost these days? $50?
They wouldn't be that expensive. You'd be able to grab one. If I can find mine.
Collector's items. They're collect items. They're not making them anymore.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
a limited amount.
That's why we should
hashtag doing it for the bit. For sure.
Doing it for the bit.
So now that the Vita is finally ending production in Japan, which I feel like is kind of the, like, they could say it's end of production in here, but once it's ended in production in Japan, that's kind of like the final be all. Once it's at end of production, it's in its hometown, I guess, is the final send off for the handheld. Do we feel sad about it? Does anyone? I honestly, as someone who was a big Vita fan, obviously at one stage, I know this is going to sound horrible because of course it is a PlayStation show and all that stuff. The Vita has been dead for years at this point, and like. I know. Yeah. But it is true. It's like the Switch has become the indie handheld machine, and it's been like that for at least the last year and a half, 2 years, or whatever.
By accident.
Pretty much by accident. I would agree with that for sure. I feel like it's something that started happening, and that the more indie games that started coming over to Switch and seeing success, and people talking about using that console to play these games on the go and stuff, the more developers that kind of jumped across and went, yep, fuck yeah, that's what we're doing now. But yeah, and a lot of these games that have been coming out for the Switch haven't been showing up on the Vita, and the Vita once was known as your go-to Switch on the go console. So how do we feel? Is it just like is it just one of those things that's like, whatever? Is it sad at all? Do you care? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was already dead. I mean, it'd been unsupported for so long. We knew it was coming. I mean, I guess we have to ask, what are they going to be doing when they're not producing?
Will they be doing another Vita?
Yeah. I think, unless it's like very, 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 very closely tied to the PS5, unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Wait, are you talking about like maybe
the Japanese market is so different to every other market.
It is.
Obviously, handheld gaming devices are so important over there.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's one of those things where the PS5 comes out, you have the PS5, you have the Vita 2, and they're like this tie-in console thing where like they're kind of going for the Switch thing, but it's not the one console. It's kind of like this, like you could play a lot of the games that are on PS5 on this Vita 2 type thing. Is that the only way this could be a success story? Like if some sort of crossover like that, that's the only way it could work.
Maybe that, or they go the other way where it's more like a iPad or a tablet. Like you have all that functionality, and you can also play full-on games with like buttons and controls.
Truck your gaming network or system onto another company's console.
And sounds like a lazy move. Like you don't have to do any work. You don't have to work for anything, and then you just undercut your price until your company goes bust.
I think you'd make a mint out of that kind of process.
Oh my god! Buddy in the chat said no reason to dust it off except for cross-buy trophy list for hashtag road to 100. The only reason I have mine out and charged it all is in case I need to pick it up to go for some trophies or something. And then he also said the Switch has made it obsolete, which is 100%
obsolete.
True. Michael said PS5 will more likely have the PSVR 2 than the PS Vita 2. If I had to pick between one, I love that. 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's going to have PSVR 2.
Yeah, for sure.
But you never know.
Absolutely.
I feel like in a world Here's the thing: when you boil down the question of will we ever get a Vita 2, we're now in a world where you actually kind of have to question if Nintendo even needs 3DS. You know, like, and if we're in a world where we're questioning if Nintendo even needs a handheld console, then you're definitely in a world of, do anyone else need a handheld console? You know, between a hybrid console that is the Switch and mobile phones and tablets being a lot more powerful these days and being able to play a lot of games and stuff, and Microsoft doing the thing where they have you put the controller into your thing in the cloud gaming and all these sorts of things that they're trying and stuff. It's hard to sell a handheld on the go console if that's all it does these days. It's kind of not really a market that needs filling, I guess.
We just need to push public transport more than people need to play games places.
What is even written here? Sheree said, do you guys know how to say words? PS Vayer. Vayer. Is that something that someone said?
I think she's trying to make fun of us, but I don't understand.
I think no, not us. I think she's trying to make fun of you, Ashley.
Well, she said you guys.
Yeah, and then she said Ashley at the end.
Yeah, it's like specifically this time but you said the footprints thing before, and Dylan said thunderstorms, and
Dylan said.
And you said something about Microsoft that didn't make. Any
I don't
sense.
think I did. I can't remember this at all. Ashley did, yes. So
copy pasta. Oh my fucking hell!
I tweeted the Urban Dictionary of copy pasta. It is a thing. Fucking. Get on Twitch more, people.
Yeah, it's a cooking thing. You copy the same sort of pasta over and over again.
If you play Cooking Mama too,
the same length.
You'll know exactly how this all works.
Yeah.
You play a bit more Overcooked, you know what's going on. Dash yelled his hashtag into the chat, Persona 5 on Switch. Very good. It's actually funny. For Dash Culture this year, I just literally thought this other day, and I'll say this on air. Go check out Dash Culture, of course. They stream all their shows on Twitch, and they're a bit better at it because they do it all the time.
They're going to have somebody new on the show next week?
They are. They're going to have me on the show. I'm great at live shows. Look at this guy. It's going to be a great old time. It's gonna be a fantastic time. I forget this. I just want to give it out there. Buddy had a hashtag last year, right? With hashtag slowest game of the year. And Buddy's spending a lot of the year trying to figure out what his hashtag for this year is. When I think Buddy needs to just give up, and Dash needs to have the hashtag this year, which is hashtag Persona 5 on Switch. And they just switched tables this year. And one has a hashtag, another one doesn't have a hashtag. No, just putting it out there. Just saying that's a thing that could happen. Move on to the last topic. Horizon Zero Dawn celebrated its second anniversary this past week with Guerrilla Games sharing that they had recently passed 10 million copies of the game sold worldwide, as well as sharing 9 interesting little tidbits about the game. I can't believe that game's 2 years old, to be honest. It sounds really... It's one of those things that when of course, you're like, yes, it is. But also one of those things that when you have it pointed out, you're like, oh, fuck, that's 2 years ago. It really doesn't seem like that long ago, so...
Sorry, I need to. Buddy, you were formerly my favorite member of Dash Culture. You've now been placed into second place. Dash, you've moved up to my favorite person after Buddy said he'd settled on hashtag Team Captain Cuties. Just
seems perfectly reasonable.
How did Cuties make it onto Platinum Explosion?
Cuties taking over the world.
And is it really bad that when I read this earlier today that it's Horizon's 2-year anniversary? It made me think of Zelda Breath of the Wild because I was like,
I mean, they're the same. So, like, everyone was celebrating. Twitter was pretty much covered with people celebrating Zelda in the majority, and then there was like every now and then I'd see something like Horizon's also 2 years old. People, did you know? And then someone the next tweet would be like, "But Zelda," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." No, I think Zelda's winning this thing, but. PlayStation show.
Of course it is. It had a 20-year head start.
Yeah, that's also true. I want to run through some of these facts because I thought some of these were quite interesting. So, prototyping on Horizon Zero Dawn's gameplay elements began in 2010 at a time. This comes from PS blog, by the way, if you want to look it over yourself. It began in 2010 at a time when most of the studio was still finishing the touches on Killzone 3, which PS3 game, so that's still happening there. The team didn't have an in-game model for Aloy because the character was still under development. Instead, they used the model for Jammer, then true to Pilot from Killzone 3. That's a little bit of fun little trivia for you there. About face. It proved quite a challenge to find the right facial model for Aloy until conversion director Joshin Williamson came Down with a bad case of the flu while recovering at home, he saw a movie starring Dutch actress Hannah Hoekester on TV and immediately knew he'd found the face of Aloy. So they stole someone's face, is what they basically say here. They're like, we saw a face.
So we should expect a lawsuit anytime.
We saw a face,
yeah,
and we decided to steal the face.
Steal the face.
Then they got the first machine that the development team designed and finished was the Thunderjaw, one of the obviously best enemies that you face in the game because it's basically like the T-Rex in the game, I guess. Well, like one of the bigger, more dangerous enemies that you fight, the Tyrannosaurus-like thing. They said, however, during the gameplay prototyping phase, the Thunderjaw looked like a children's toy made from brightly colored plastic bricks, which you can find shown on that article as well. In an early prototype, machine ended up a holographic Easter eggs in one of our games. Killzone Shadowfall, which came out 2013, dubbed the Predator. Design of the prototype machine ultimately didn't make it into Horizon Zero Dawn, although many of its behavioral routines were used to create the devastating Sawtooth. So there is an Easter egg of Horizon in Killzone Shadowfall, which is a very Disney-like move where often Disney put Easter eggs for their future films into their current films, but no one really picks up the Easter eggs, of course, until like afterwards. That was a lot
until the internet.
Until the internet, yeah, that's also a thing. Some of the Walla, which is the sound imitating the murmur of a crowd in the background, recorded by the audio team consists of Guerrilla's developers speaking in gibberish. And then there was also someone had a baby born. Everyone make conscious sound at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. The composers of Hero Zone were invited to the Guerrilla studio to play on... Kieran doesn't care about babies. To play on real face miles and tribal instruments used in the game. Every machine in Horizon Zero Dawn has hundreds of different sounds, from the creaking of mechanical limbs to the cries of an alarm when it spots a threat. The sound designs were mixed using animal sounds together to give a machine a unique character. And the last thing was Guerrilla's music supervisor, senior director, sound designer Lucas Van Tol researched over 750 bird sounds. That's a fuck ton of birds. From those, only 30 of those made the cut in Horizon Zero Dawn. It was a comprehensive job to pick the birds that will naturally go on. So Horizon's second anniversary, there's nothing, disappointingly, as far as anyone could see, including myself, there's no teasers towards Horizon Zero Dawn. No, it wouldn't even be called Horizon Zero Dawn 2, would it? It would be called like Horizon Second Dawn.
Horizon Zero Rise
Again or something like that, I guess. Yeah, for sure. How do
Shadow of the Horizon.
How do we feel about Horizon, and when do you reckon potentially we could see the sequel? Would you be excited for the sequel? How do you feel about Horizon 2 years on as kind of, I would guess, like PlayStation's first major hit for the PS4, like to a degree, like new IP? I suppose is that, like, of course we've had like a lot of games, but I don't know. I feel like when that game came out, it really did seem like, given the success and praise it was getting, I could see by the time the second one rolls around, they really will push it as this is one of our major characters now. Like Aloy is kind of a star. So when do you reckon we would be getting it? Do you reckon we could see potentially Horizon's Second Son or whatever the second sequel? Do you reckon we could see
Second Son?
Yeah, that's the infamous crossover.
Horizon Spawns again.
It's a second crossover.
With Troy Baker.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll take Troy Baker in the Horizon sequel. Do you reckon we could see Horizon's sequel as a PS5 launch game? Potentially, or something along those lines.
No, it's not going to be a launch game.
No.
I
think it's another 2 years out.
Let's take that idea and squish it. Just stamp on that now.
Why is it impossible?
It's a bad idea.
Why is it a bad idea?
Well, I guess if the PlayStation 5 isn't coming out till 2021, we're good.
Oh, fucking
yeah,
well, to be fair, they could, if they want to like do a shitty job, like phone it in.
Sounds like
they could do it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't sound like something they would do.
Well.
What was the last game they phoned in?
It's been a while, but that's why it's coming back around.
Yep. What was the last one?
Back around. That crappy Halo ripoff back on the PlayStation 3.
What? Oh, Ruse or something?
Was it Fuse? Fuse? No.
No, that was Insomniac's multi-platform.
No.
Game.
It was the one with like the yellow helmets. Oh, fuck.
Oh, Haze.
It was Haze. That was it.
Haze.
That shit.
Didn't have trophies. Shit game.
Yeah, it was a shit game.
Well, then it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive, was it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. As far as unless it magically came to PC or something, it was a PlayStation thing. It was pretty shit though, to be honest. I agree with Kieran on that fact. At least I agree with Kieran on that front.
It was.
I think we might have found the game that Kieran has to play, huh?
I
don't have a PlayStation 3, so can't do that one, sucker.
No, that's true. There's the only thing there.
We need
Death
a remaster.
Stranding 2045.
Can you dig it?
Probably most likely. No, thank you. No, thank you very much.
Death Stranding 2077.
No, thank you.
That's freaking. That's phoning in your. That's pulling it back a bit. 2100. Like Hideo Kojima's clone is going to be finishing that game. Not even the real
Hideo
Hideo
Kojima's clone. Probably makes sense. If he would have a clone, actually, I'd believe that. If that's actually something he was looking into.
100%.
I'm sorry. Looking back at Horizon, I still think it's one of the prettiest, best looking games that you can still play on your PS4, especially if you have a 4K HDR enabled TV. It looks absolutely amazing. It's still one of the games I had the most fun in with photo mode, because that was also like
I would say its legacy possibly could be that it popularized photo mode in games. In my mind, that's the first game that did it.
Mine too.
To the level that we do it now.
When I think of photo mode with the options and stuff, Horizon. Yeah, how many photos did you take in Horizon photo mode? Took them all? You're a professional photographer over there?
Professional. I was like photoing in Spooderman, you know? Like I was like doing the photographs, making the images, putting them on Tumblr, making a ghost account for all of my photography needs, you know? Shit, it just came out live on there. You'll never find it.
deviantart.com/Kieran baby is where you'll find all his stuff. It's funny though when you think about the photo mode, because of course like Spider-Man had its photo mode stuff pretty much swamped onto Twitter, and its photo mode stuff was everywhere. But I'm trying to think back, and I don't recall actually seeing too much Horizon stuff. And I don't know if it's because like obviously more people have PlayStations now, and more Spider-Man would be a more played popular game to take stuff in, or
like the social media aspect probably wasn't as heavily integrated into like the PlayStation, or people didn't use those functions very much until then, so they're probably much easier to use as of Spider-Man.
Dash said The Last of Us popularized it. I would disagree. I know The Last of Us had a photo mode, of course, and it was good, but I still like if we're gonna say Horizon was like the first one that had a lot of options and kicked off and had a lot more sharing, which I would agree with Ash on that part. The Last of Us was kind of like I guarantee a lot of people don't even realize there was a photo mode in that game if you was to like do a poll of sorts.
I didn't know it had a photo mode till you said.
Yeah, me too. And The Last of Us.
Who wants to take photos in that world? You're too busy running away from freaking zombie.
You don't want to take selfies with clickers?
Not really.
Did you say you were too busy running away from Ellie first?
No, I said zombie.
You said Ellie.
No.
Zombie fuckers, because you forgot they were called clickers.
Yeah,
I forgot what they were called, so.
That's fine. I'll forgive you. All right, move on to hashtag every trophy counts. The first thing I'll send through is the pop culturist sent through a congratulatory message on 100 episodes, which they'll also be there as well. So check out the pop culturist for the show. Of course,
good guys over there.
They're only 7 episodes. They're only 7 episodes away from 100, which 100% proves that they copied this show because they started a couple weeks after we did. That's why they're coming up on 100 very soon. But that's fine. But they also asked, what would happen if the PS5 had no trophy support? And the answer to that question is a resounding. I would go into the streets. I would be throwing chairs through shop windows. I would be shutting down the internet. That's exactly what would happen if the PlayStation had no trophies.
Buddy's got a point here.
What Buddy say?
Popsy
did the old copy paste.
The old copy pasta. The old copy pasta.
It's 100% true. 100% sure.
If copy pasta was a thing, they would have done it. Yeah.
I legit reckon that if it's not going to happen because it would piss off so many people, and that's the reason it won't happen. But in a world where they decided that they're no longer going to support trophies, there would be outrage to a degree that we probably haven't seen. Because although
you'd still buy it because it's PlayStation.
I don't know. I reckon if there was anything PlayStation could do to make me take a stand of you've gone too far, not bringing over trophies might be the point where I'm like, I can't.
What if they have a PlayStation trophy system, but you have to start again?
Yeah. What if they need to reset because of all the crappy infrastructure?
So like you don't bring over
everybody's starting fresh.
billion trophies.
No, I'm done. I'm an Xbox fan. No, fuck that. Fuck that. Let's be realistic. If this happened and I'm like,
Switch.
I'm taking a stand and I'm not buying the PS5, PlayStation, get fucked. Yeah, all of a sudden I'm obviously hardcore into Nintendo becomes my main platform because I play my Switch the second most out of all my consoles at the moment. So that's what would happen. But I'd say if that's happened, that I would take a stand. I would not fucking stand for it. Dash said, everyone, homeless crazy man,
Dylan Blight rams shopping trolley into the local EB games for no PS5 trophy support.
That's a headline.
That would be the headline on explosionnetwork.com.
If I can die, and that's my legacy, it's a legacy. You know, like it is a legacy.
I mean, everything's a legacy.
But that's a good legacy to have. I stood up for something that means something.
Is it?
Michael said Greg Miller would take Shu hostage. I would hope he would to make sure that everything stays correct. Yeah, so that's how I'd answer that question. It won't happen, and if it did, there would be outroar. Many people would be yelling all sorts of things. All right, so there's 2 trophy lists. I want to creep pull out. The first one.
Creepily look at the trophy list.
The first one, after all this fucking copy pasta shit, is a game called Creepy Road, based on Creepypasta. Which is a side-scrolling zombie game that seems to have a pretty straightforward and easy platinum. All you got to do is collect all the stuff in the levels, and I looked up a guide, and it's like 1 to 2 hours. And the second game is Awesome P. Make sure you're paying attention, buddy, of course, for these ones. Awesome P is a side-scrolling platformer that, in the guide I looked up, is a 1 to 2 hour platinum, and all you got to do is beat all the levels, basically, once again. So they're 2 very easy platinums as well. Buddy, hope you're paying very much attention. So what did Michael say here? Like, so founding member of Explosion Network is not a legacy.
You'd rather your legacy be homeless crazy person ramming shopping trolley into
I want them tied in. Explosion Network founding father rams trolley through
and local crazy man.
Rams a trolley through the thing, of course. All right, so that's all topics. I've got one. Buddy just sent me through a lightning round of questions that we'll do in a second, but also Jaden sent through something before, a nice congratulations message I'll read out. He said, "Congrats, guys, on reaching episode 100. So proud to have been watching you guys from day one. You cannot understand the progress you've all made. I really can't after this episode. In the beginning, it was a good show. But was it? But now it is truly great. But what is it? And it can only get better. But can it, though?" So that's
Thanks, Jaden, for the nice message and your terrible predictions reviews.
I appreciate the time. And, nobody's wasted more time on this show than you have, Jaden, with all your counting votes and yelling at us and writing essays telling us how much we're idiots when you probably could have just written "You're all idiots, quit your jobs," and the Explosion Network. Yeah.
We can all quit jobs and do stuff. All right.
Shout out to Jaden. Only guest writer.
Love you, bud.
Only guest writer on Explosion Network.
Maybe be relevant soon, that article.
It could be if it lands. I'm looking for a chance to retweet his article. All right, so this is how we'll do Buddy's lightning round questions. I will ask the question out loud, then answer it myself, and then Ash will answer it, Kieran will answer it, and that's how we'll go around.
So I answer first.
Wait, you're answering, and then I'm answering. And then
no. I'm answering, you're answering, Ash, and then Dylan answers. And then Cherie answers. And then we call Nick answers. Can I ask the question? Can I ask the questions?
Is this a bit?
No, it's not a bit. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was looking at the chat.
Me, Ash, Kieran, ready.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you're just reading the question and then not answering.
I'm reading it, then answering it, then you're answering it, and then Kieran. I'm like, fucking God.
That's a big old drink of alcohol there, ladies and gentlemen.
Favorite PlayStation console? PS3. I hate you so much. Ash, answer the question.
What?
Favorite PlayStation
you haven't
console?
Answered.
I said PS3.
PS4.
Favorite PlayStation console? PS3. Ash said PS4. Kieran.
PS4.
PS2.
Favorite PlayStation franchise? Crash Bandicoot.
Uncharted.
Jack and Daxter.
Favorite first party.
What?
You're not allowed to what
I've never heard you talk about Jak and Daxter ever.
I really like Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter's a good series. Fuck you, Ashley. How dare you?
But if it's your favorite, why haven't you talked about it before?
I have talked about it before.
No.
Ashley just doesn't listen to our fucking podcast.
Kieran has said multiple times that Jak X is the ultimate kart racer and it's his favorite game of all time.
Well, I won't go that far.
I think that's what you said.
Oh, yeah, now it's coming back to me.
I won't go that far, no. Is that another popper in your hand, Ash?
No, this is the defunct one.
Defunct one. Favorite first party studio? I really don't know these days. That's a fucking. That's one question. I
It's not even.
Bend.
What? Why hasn't put out anything?
Bend.
I said it, and then I'm like waiting, and I just see Ash's face like, what? Yeah, they made the greatest time of all time. They're making the greatest franchise of all time. It's motorcycle games coming out very soon. It's going to be.
But does it come out yet? How can it be?
Look, I can't pick my answer, so I'm just said what came to my head, and it was Ben. So fuck you. Say your answer.
I love the reactions of Jesus Christ. Bend Jesus. Bend, just in chat. Just thinking you're an idiot.
They made some of the greatest PSP games. I don't know what the fuck is everyone's problem, okay? Just because you're mean to the PSP games. They made some of the greatest PSP games. They made the best PSP games, okay?
Can you just let Ashley answer next? Like, stop hugging.
He said Naughty Dog. He already said Naughty Dog.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Yeah,
Ashley, say your answer.
Like several times.
He said Naughty Dog about 10 times.
Insomniac.
They're not first party.
Yeah, they are.
First party.
All right, Naughty Dog. Fuck it.
The second. Okay, there you go. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Dash is leaving because I said bend. That's fair. Whatever. What was most important? PS2 DVD or PS3 Blu-ray? PS2 DVD.
PS2 DVD.
PS3 Blu-ray?
No.
Yeah, because
No.
that answered the war. Because it won the war between the crappy fucking HD DVD and Blu-ray. Like,
I mean, it's pretty close, but PS2 got me into
PS3 Blu-ray.
getting DVDs.
No one was buying a $1,000 console for a Blu-ray player, but people were buying PlayStations instead of a DVD player.
No, but like we could be in a timeline right now where HD DVD is the standard.
No.
You're wrong. I'm answering. We're getting on to the next question. Gran Turismo or Ridge Racer? Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, although I don't have a horse.
Wait, what the fuck? What was the question?
Gran Turismo.
No,
or
he's not listening now.
Yeah, I can't listen when you're talking over him.
Ridge Racer or Gran Turismo.
Oh, Gran Turismo. Even though I don't like both. I don't like either of them.
Crash or Spyro? Crash.
Crash.
Spyro.
Yeah, I thought you said that. Joel or Ellie? That's a weird question. Ellie.
Ellie.
Joel?
Nah, you're a piece of shit. He's a horrible character. Elena. No, he's a good character. He's a horrible person. Elena or Chloe? No spoilers. Elena or Chloe? Is this? Chloe. Elena. That's a hard one. Elena.
It's Elena. You can't.
Elena.
I don't know.
That's a hard question. Elena. Okay, Elena.
It's not even close.
I don't even know why you had to think about that.
They're both cool for their own reasons.
Yeah, they're cool, but Elena.
They're cool, but Chloe was just no.
What do you got against
Elena? She's the every woman.
She's the every woman.
She's chucked in
Hashtag the every woman. And if you want to see Elena,
no, like you know the every man in adventure action stories.
Yeah,
she's every woman. Yeah,
Drake is the every man, and Elena is the every woman. I guess. Is the thing.
No, he's trained to be a friggin' treasure hunter.
He's not trained by anyone. He's a fucking orphan that just so happened to learn to jump off buildings and shit. He watched Indiana
what do you think
Jones
Sully was doing the 20 years prior before we...
Jerking his gherkin, I don't know. Croc or Jumping Flash? Croc. I've never played Jumping Flash, so Croc.
Croc.
Gex, the gecko.
You can't. It's Croc or Jumping.
I don't know either of them.
Maybe you don't know Croc, Legend of the Gobos?
I do know Croc now that I think about it. It's just been a very...
Croc, Legend of the Gobos. Croc 2,
you just
no
talked
subtitle.
about it last week on the show.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that.
Legend. It's literally in the title, Kieran. He is a legend of
I do kind of remember. He had like a funky long tooth. Like
Yes,
one of his
he did.
teeth.
Wait,
Yes.
he's the legend of the Gobbos, or is the Gobbos the legend?
One of his fangs was a bit longer, right? And he was an armadillo.
He had 2 teeth. An armor. Fucking. I hate you so much. You're a fucking piece of shit. PSP or Vita? Vita.
Vita.
Rip.
Vita.
Rip Vita. Did you have a modded chips PS1? Yes, I did.
No, I didn't have a PS1.
No, I didn't have a modded one.
All my games are basically pirated. I'm sorry.
Blight did.
In fact, at one stage for my birthday, I got given a pirated game, which I can now look back on and go and like think about my parents and know that they basically brought me a game for like $1 or whatever it cost to buy the fucking blank disc. Like, you fucking cheap motherfuckers. You cheap fucking shit.
All the characters had little eye patches.
Oh my god. All right, last couple. Hardest plat trophy, either Bloodborne or Rogue Legacy, probably.
Fallout Shelter.
It was hard making them all them babies.
Yeah, it's time consuming.
Yeah, it is.
Overwatch.
You don't have the platinum
You haven't
trophy.
got it though.
Wait, did it say that you have?
Yeah, that's the implication.
It's implied.
I don't think I did any hard ones, right?
Well, what's the hardest of the easy ones you've got?
I don't know. Like Until Dawn? No, it wasn't even hard. I don't know.
You didn't do Until Dawn.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
I did it before I was friends with you, but I've done the Until
It
Dawn.
doesn't count then.
How does that not count?
Look, none of your trophies count before meeting me.
You could fucking next question.
Worst plat trophy. I back at, like years ago, I would have said Hannah Montana, very easy because like that's the go-to. But honestly, some of those worse Ratatouille published games that are just so piss easy and horrible. Like even that that random one I played last year where it was just like the side scroller one that was just the worst made game. Whatever that's called, I can't even remember the name. That's the worst platinum I've ever got. That is a terrible fucking game. Or that Troll Hunter game. Ash is like Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, sure.
Kieran's answer is Until Dawn.
No. It's like this creature sounds or something. You had to like pet an animal on the PS3. I did it on a friend's console at the time. It was bad.
Sounds like bullshit. Moving on.
iToy?
No.
iPets?
I mean, I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't a platinum. I don't know. Fuck it.
I think you're dreaming up games.
Who cares about trophies on this show anyway?
Memories of the great PSN outrage. My memories is this. I was doing what a lot of people who cared about trophies were, which was trying to make the most of the time while also being equally worried about not being able to sync our trophies and potentially losing them. So at the same, I was trying to get the most amount of trophies I could get. So then when it came back online, I could sync all my trophies up and it would be like this massive jump. But at the same time, there was a constant thought process of, oh, fuck, I don't have any way to currently sync my trophies, and what if my PlayStation bricks or something along those lines, and I'm going to lose everything I'm doing? So that made me not want to play, but also made me want to play. And then I also remember listening to PlayStation, IGN's PlayStation Beyond podcast, of course, where they would constantly talk, Colin and Greg would constantly talk about the outage as it was happening. And I then remember driving from Launceston to Devonport the day the service came back online, and they dropped an episode while I was at like a halfway point where I'd stopped to get gas. And I saw an episode had been published by them because they ran straight back into the studio to record an episode as soon as the PSN outage had come back off. And I downloaded the episode right there and then. And then I remember driving the rest of the journey listening to that podcast, which is where the famous Kelly Colin came in. If you're a fan of IGN Beyond and you remember Kelly being on that podcast, I remember listening to that on a certain highway on my drive to Devonport. So that's all my memories connected to that. Does anyone else have memories of Ash? What are your memories of the PSN outage?
I don't have memories. I don't have a PS3 yet.
Memories. There. Oh,
probably
Kieran?
reading about it on stuff.
Yeah, Kieran, do you have any?
I didn't have a PlayStation 3 at the time.
Holy shit, I was the only person who had a PlayStation console. Holy shit. Best PlayStation game ever is Buddy's last quick fire question. That is fucked. And that's why I should have read the questions ahead of time to give myself an advantage on the but I've been reading them as I've been reading them, and I should have actually just scrolled ahead, but I was trying to actually do them properly. Best PlayStation game of all time. Bloodborne. There's my answer. Ash.
Uncharted 3.
Sure. Kieran.
Uncharted 2.
Really? Uncharted? Okay.
I love the shit out of 2. Like, I really love the shit out of Uncharted 2. It's a very good game.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm going to run through some random things here that I missed while I was doing all that for your chat. Firstly, Michael said PS2 DVD got me to watch Lord of the Rings extended editions. I still haven't watched the extended editions, and I don't know what could get me to watch them. Potentially having to watch them for What Do You Want to Watch or something would get me to watch them, but at that stage...
Let's fucking go. I'll be on those episodes. Let's go.
When's the anniversary?
When's the anniversary? We can do it for a special thing.
December.
DVD was his pick. Dash had Forza Horizon. Yeah, I don't think that's a PlayStation game. I'm sorry, we couldn't include that in the best racing game franchise of all time. Michael said, what's it? Shree said, I'm with Kieran on this one. She's just no. And then Michael said...
She was with me in the argument of
no.
Elena,
a journalist isn't every woman. Does that add up, Ash? Elena, as in journalist, isn't every woman?
She's every woman.
Yeah.
It's only her.
Ah, sure. And then everyone screamed about Kieran not knowing who Croc was, which is, of course, 100% warranted because... he doesn't know what it was. Buddy then said, haha, one Xmas, I got 20 modded games wrapped in 5 separate Christmas presents. Yeah, I would have got some for my birthday and stuff too. And now looking back, I'm like, my parents, fucking cheap asses, motherfuckers, look, ripping me off. Michael said the Quiet Man once again, so I think we're going to have to lock that in at this stage. Let's lock it in. Kieran will be streaming The Quiet Man in full, because there's no way you get around that because it's only like a 3-hour game, so you have to commit to finishing it. Kieran will be streaming The Quiet Man in full some point in the near future. Of course, stay tuned to at Explosion Pod on Twitter to find out when he will be streaming that, but we'll make him do it very soon. I've played it. It's a terrible game, so I hope they'll all be enjoyable. For everyone to go on. Everyone then screamed Beyond in the chat, of course. Dash is then going off, apparently because he doesn't like Bloodborne, I assume, because he just keeps writing blood and then born and then getting angry about it. But Dash also doesn't like The Dark Knight, so he has no good taste in games or movies. So what the fuck does he know? Sick burn. So that is it for episode 100 of Platinum Explosion. Hopefully we'll be able to do at least 50 more of these, maybe 100 more, maybe 100 more after that. Time will tell. Of course, who knows? He's now writing "Listen, mate," but I know just to look away from chat and wrap up the show now. Not going to give him attention. He's like that little gnawing child at your legs trying to get your attention, and you're just like, "Go play Persona, mate. Fuck off out of here." And
that's right. He hasn't got a platform to talk about anything for like a month. So
yeah, that's right. That's 100% right for sure. Don't need to follow up. Don't need to follow up.
Yeah,
the burns are coming in hard and fast. Thank you for joining us live for Platinum Explosion episode 100 on twitch.tv/Explosion Network. Of course, thank you for everyone for joining in the show, for throwing the biddies, Michael, and giving out the free gift subs to everyone. It's been a great old time. I hope everyone has had a fantastic time. If you're listening to the audio version, which of course is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all those other great audio podcast services, and you've been listening to this going, what the fuck is happening? This is not my usual type of show where it's a little bit more serious and a little bit less train fire. You should probably go watch the video version so you can get a lot of Ash's rocket bottles going off and our reactions to such things, because they probably work out a lot better when you're actually seeing our faces to them than just listening to the audio version, of course. So you can find that on youtube.com/Explosion Network, and then of course explosionnetwork.com, where you can find the video version and the audio version of the show. You can follow me on Twitter at VivaLadil, VIVALADIL. Where can people follow you, Ash?
Follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. That's the thing.
Where can people follow you, Karen?
You can check me out on Twitter at your boy Ringo, where you'll see the definition of copy pasta currently.
Oh my fucking God. You can follow this show on Twitter at Plat Podcast, of course, and you can follow Explosion Network on Twitter at Explosion Pod. You can come over to Discord to talk to us. That's also currently the only place where Nick will talk to you if you want to talk to Nick. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord. And until next week, when the show's back to some sort of normality, I guess, I hope you all have a fantastic evening, morning, night, whatever you're doing. Ashley, you're going to I really hope you've got one more party popper. If you're not, you're going to let me down horribly. You're going to let me down? You're going to let me down? You're going to let me down?
Sure do! Wait. Hey!
Good night, everyone.